Welcome to Behind the Muscle Podcast. Today's guest is an NPC bodybuilder. Today's guest is Ryan Foster. Ryan, welcome back to the podcast, man.
What's up, man? Glad to be back.
Yeah, for sure. So, for all of you who are tuning into this episode of Behind the Muscle Podcast, just kind of want to let you know Ryan's been on. This will be his second appearance, kind of the normal, typical BTM podcast episode. You can kind of just scroll back and find Ryan's first appearance on here and kind of get his full story. We're just going to kind of do a prep update today. We're just a little over 2 weeks out from Nationals, so we're just going to talk a little shop. So, all right, Ryan. So I don't know, can't remember when the first time you were on. I think maybe it was like June or July or maybe even before then. But why don't you give us a little update? Now, I know you were moving down to Arizona. I think you moved down to Arizona for a short hot minute, and it sounds like from your coach you're back in Oregon. So what was that all about? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like I mentioned in that first podcast, I had the painting company, and I think I had told you like how miserable it made me and how hard it was to bodybuild and do that at the same time and climb ladders all day and put my body in these weird positions where I've already got a lot of imbalances that I know of, and just putting my body in those weird positions all day and overly stressed state constantly was, I was always trying to get away from that. So I worked really, really hard to build up, like we had talked about, some of my coaching and personal training clientele, and get to the point where I got a job offer at a gym down in Arizona. Actually, a guy that I coached, he opened a gym and said he had all these clients and stuff. If I moved down there, I could make pretty good money. So I saved up all my money for a few months, so I had a little cushion, and moved down there and went to the gym, started hanging out. And the clients weren't really there like I was expecting. So I called Tim one day. I'm like, dude, I think I was like 10 or 12 weeks out, somewhere in between there. I was like, dude, I don't know if it's working out down here. Is it going to mess up my prep, you think, if I try to move back? Because I know at least I can paint and make some money. Because the one thing that's you don't want to do is go broke on prep, because then after the show, you come back home to just nothing, really not being able to even go out and enjoy life. So I was trying to do things the right way, and I was like, well, this isn't happening, so I need to figure out something quick. So I talked to Tim. He's like, dude, if you come back here, like, we'll make sure that we get you some clients, because I don't want you painting anymore. And he's like, you could even work at the desk at the gym, and that'll be a great opportunity for you to introduce yourself when new members come in, and you can have firsthand dibs at some of these personal training clients. So that's what I've been doing. I moved back like just a couple days after that, because I was like, I don't want to be indecisive. I got to just like pick something and go with it. I went to Arizona. I thought that was the right thing. It wasn't. It was a very expensive life lesson. But the good thing is it got me out of painting. I still haven't been painting since I've been back. I've just been working the desk at the gym. I've already got quite a few clients to the point where it's sustaining me enough, at least till after the show, and where I can put more time in, whatever. But right now I've only got so much in me anyways. So I'm at a perfect spot, honestly. It's been a lot easier on my body. I'm able to keep a lot better size than I was when I was painting, which is great. I feel like my imbalances have gone down a ton. Yeah, so just a pretty good spot. Obviously the move was stressful and expensive, but yeah, there's this little couple weeks there, transition period, getting back into life out here in Oregon, and it's been great. I mean, I'm doing what I want to be doing, and prep's looking pretty good so far. So it was worth all the stress and trouble to at least know that I went for it.
100%, man. That's what life is all about, dude, just collecting experiences, living and learning, right? So that's cool. Now, let's talk a little bit about remind all of us, Ryan, when was the last time that you were on stage? And then, kind of talk a little bit about your thought process of wanting to compete at nationals this year.
Yeah. So I did the 2021 USA's was my last show. So I'd won the Oregon as the qualifier. And then 4 weeks later went to the USA's when they were in Arizona. And I originally made first call outs. I cut down to the heavyweights because I qualified in the supers. I was like 232 at that show. And then we cut really, really fucking hard and ended up weighing in at 220 at USA's. So 12 pounds down from my qualifier where I thought I looked pretty spot on. Maybe I could have been a little bit harder, but ended up making first call outs and I was up there for that first round and then they left me up for second call outs and I was like, shit, that's probably not good. So I was on stage for like over 14 minutes posing and I was already super flat and that just ruined my look completely. I didn't even look like the same guy. So from the beginning of the show to after prejudging. So ended up taking like 9th, which was not great out of, I don't know, I think there's 15, 20 guys or whatever. So because I had been told from several people, like good pros and different coaches that I was being looked at as one of the favorites going into that one. So that kind of like hurt my ego a little bit, but I decided I needed to just come back and be bigger and just be in a better position financially this next time around, which I really worked hard on that. And yeah, so I figured if I did nationals, it's at the end of the year and that's my slowest time of the year with work. So I figured I could take that whole next year off and not have to prep till, halfway through summer, towards the end or towards fall, just so that I could work and focus on that and then take the time to actually make the improvements that I needed because my legs needed to come up and my back needed to come up is what the judges said quite a bit. So I was doing both of those twice a week. This whole off season, I had a thickness day for back and a width day. And then I split up my quads and hamstrings as well. So those vocal areas that I was putting all my energy in definitely came up. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty good look so far. It's definitely bigger, which I'm like, that was my main thing. I feel comfortable being a super heavyweight. So I'm at 2.5 weeks out now. And I'm at my lowest weight that I've been yet because I've been doing some low days. I was 237 this morning, which, I've been hovering around 240, 243. And so we're really just pulling that last little bit now so that, the week of we can start slowly carbon up because I don't have to make a weight class or anything. So I can do things a lot more gradually and just kind of like fill till we like the spot that we're at. And then we can just hold there, which is just a lot easier than trying to, just wing it and be like, all right, we're just going to blast full shit ton of carbs the day before or right after weigh-ins or whatever. So it'll be better. My body is very sensitive to like sudden changes. So the more gradual we can do things, the better I do. Also learned that pulling water is not conducive for my look. I need to keep it in and maybe just pull it back a little bit. But just when I lose that fullness and that pop, my shape kind of goes away. And that's kind of my strong suit is my shape. The glutes are always striated, so that's good. But yeah, just focusing on staying full and really showing off all the tissue that I've put on this last year.
How tall are you, Ryan?
I'm 5'9".
You're 5'9". Okay. Now, so you've had well over a year of time off in terms of the last time you competed. So you mentioned bringing up your back and legs. doing like a thickness day for back, a width day for back. What are some of the back movements that you kind of have focused on for both of those days? And then what are some of the leg movements that you focused on over this last year to bring those body parts up, Ryan?
Yeah. So the main thing was like my back thickness. Um, and so what I did is I had a back width day. So that was always on Tuesdays. And then quads Thursday with a little bit of hamstring. And then Saturdays, I would do hamstring, glutes, and then a thick back thickness altogether. So kind of like my posterior chain. And I think the main exercise that I just went super hard on was deadlifts. I kept those in every week till I was pulling 6 plates for, I don't know, 8 to 10 reps, somewhere around there. And I've kept those in through prep. And, 3 weeks out, I was still pulling 5 plates for 12 reps. So that adds a lot of density to my back, which actually makes it look harder and leaner rather than trying to just flatten out. And so a lot of those. And then for legs, I pulled back. I was doing just Smith squats the year before, and I got up to like, again, 6 plates on the Smith squat for 10 to 12 reps. It was way too much for my joints and stuff. So switched over, started pre-exhausting a little bit with like leg press, doing my ham curls, leg extensions, adductors, and then hitting my heavy compound at the end. And I usually stuck with the V squat or the pendulum because it's just a lot more controlled and I can really bias the quad. And yeah, so that's where.
You still there?
Yeah, I had a call coming in. I'm gonna put my phone on do not disturb.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
There we go. Hopefully that goes away. All right. Yeah, so sticking with those for my heavy compounds, I didn't do really any Smith squats this year. And I feel like I was able to keep my knees a lot healthier and just focus more on building the quad rather than moving such heavy weight. Slowed the tempo down quite a bit. And also stopped going quite as deep as I was before because I noticed I was going so deep. I was really just like using that reflex in my tendons a lot more than I needed to. So stopping just below parallel, for me, I seem to get a lot better mind to muscle connection with my quad. And definitely those adductors. I just went super hard on tons of adductor stuff. And even on my glute ham day, putting my feet really high on the leg press and trying to just get the adductors and hamstrings just gnarly. So that's the main things that I've incorporated. And then on my width day, it was more just like pull down stuff, just machines, single arm pull downs, underhands.
Cool. Remind us what's kind of your training philosophy? How do you kind of set things up for your training in terms of like what's your kind of your split preference, and then are you doing like the top set stuff with the back offs, or what does it kind of look like, Ryan?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's low volume, a few feeder sets, light warm ups, and save it all for that one top set, maybe 2 top sets. Maybe it's a top set and a back off, though that's kind of intuitive depending on, how I feel that day. And I tried to up my volume a little bit more in the beginning of prep so that I could pull back on the actual sets towards the end, and then just really go all out on those 5 or 6 top sets the whole workout. And yeah, pretty low volume. And my split is I made my split after USA's, so I created it just for since then, and that was chest and shoulders on Monday. Those are both pretty dominant body parts on me, so I figured I could shove those together. They don't need their own separate days. Back width is still Tuesday, and then I rest Wednesday. Thursday is quads, just a little bit of hammies and calves, and then Friday is arms, Saturday is my glute hams and back thickness day. And it's been mostly glute and hams and just deadlifts. I don't really do any other rows or like thickness movements lately, because I feel like the deadlifts, I can go all out on those and get the most bang for my buck, really. And then Sunday is a rest day again.
Okay. What type of pendulum squat do you guys have there at O'Malley's gym that you use?
We have the Arsenal one.
Okay. You like that
Yeah,
one
it's
quite a
pretty.
bit?
I like that one. When I was in Arizona, they had what was that one? A Legend, or it was Atlantis? I think it was Legend, or I think it must have been Atlantis. Um, that one was pretty sweet. It was, the lever arm was a little bit shorter, so for whatever reason, it just felt a little bit smoother. But the Arsenal one's great too. I love it.
Cool, cool. Okay, let's get into a little bit of cardio talk. So what's your cardio kind of been like? Did you start out with any cardio at the beginning of this prep? How much are you up to? What's that kind of look like, Ryan?
Yeah, we definitely started with pretty minimal. I think it was like 15 minutes fasted and then 20 post workout. And it's just slowly gone up every other week or so, to the point where now I do 35 in the morning, 35 post workout on my training days. And my rest days, I do 40 in the morning and 45 in the evening. So it's every day. And it's more than I did last year or the year before with USA's, because I don't have as physically demanding of a job. So I do notice I have to go a little bit harder on my cardio to get the same kind of calorie expenditures I normally would. But it's nice because it's all just symmetrical. Like it's not putting my body in a weird position. So even though it sucks, my legs feel like bricks. Dude, that's the hardest part right now, is just the cardio. The food part's fine, the training's great, but cardio for some reason, like, damn, it's so boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes my walks in the morning, especially when it's like 20, 25 minutes, that's pretty doable. But man, 45 minutes, like with my, it's just too much.
What is it? Is it all? Is all of your cardio just like walking on a treadmill or walking outside, or do you kind of try to mix it up a little bit?
Yeah, I do the incline on the treadmill at like a 6 or 7, and then my fasted, if it's nice out, I just go outside for a walk, which that I really like. Fasted walk in the morning outside is just fresh air, kind of meditate in the morning before the chaos starts.
Yeah. What's the weather like up there in your neck of the woods in Oregon right now? We got snow here in Iowa, so
Oh yeah. No, it's hasn't snowed yet, but it's like it's getting close. It's like 35,
okay,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
So you guys do get snow up there where you're at in Oregon?
Oh yeah, quite a bit. We're pretty close to the mountain.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Now your coach is Tim O'Malley. I had him on here within the last month. How long has he been coaching you for, Ryan?
Yeah. So he coached me for the Oregon in 2021. So that show was in the beginning of July. So we started prep probably the beginning of the year, sometime around there. So the beginning of 2021, and everything's going great. I really like the way the dynamic we have. It seems to work great because um, I feel like I can speak up if there's something that I feel like is working or isn't working, or if there's something I want to try. He's always open to it and kind of gives me his honest opinion on things. And yeah, it was just a pretty open communication, so it helps a lot. I think it's a lot better than some of my other experiences, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's always nice in any type of relationship in life where you can have open communication and both people feel comfortable kind of sharing what needs to be shared. Because when you're growing up with sports, a lot of times the coaches are like, do this, and you're like, well, why? And it's like, because I said so, kind of thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
once you get to be an adult and you're like you yourself an upper level athlete in terms of bodybuilding, you don't need another adult like telling you like do this because I said so. It's like that just I don't think that really works a whole lot, especially once you get a little bit more experience in season. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, I've been my own boss since I was like 21. So I don't do well with someone like being militant, like telling me I have to do this and don't question anything. Like I question everything. I want to learn too. I want to experiment with different philosophies and shit. Like, so if I have some crazy idea, like, oh, what if we try this crazy carb loading thing or whatever? He's like, we could do that or this. Like, it's pretty cool. It's a good back and forth for sure.
Okay, so just touching on diet and eating just for a quick minute. What's first of all, what are kind of the foods that you stick to? What are the foods that you found kind of work best for you? And then where are you kind of at? Do you guys kind of do the macro thing? How do you kind of like split things up in terms of the carbs, protein, fats? What's that like right now?
Yeah, we don't count macros. We had the off season meal plan, and it's the same food. We just literally just adjust the numbers. First thing that goes is the junk food, any kind of extra muffins and shit like that I was doing in the off season and Pop Tarts. Um, then we'll start to clean up some of the fats. That's usually the first thing that starts to go down quite a bit. Um, and then carbs just taper down very, very slowly. Because I was doing 400 grams per meal in the off season for five of my meals a day, and the other one was oats and then a shake. Um, and we actually switched because I was doing a lot of the crispy rice and whey shakes in the off season because I could get in a lot more volume or a lot more food with less volume. So we switched over to just whole foods. We kept the shakes for a little bit, first half of prep, then we pulled the shakes. Now it's just whole foods. We had some beef in there, and that was my last little bit of fat. And now we've pulled the beef and switched 4 of my meals over to just fish, 2 chicken, and then one of them is just whey and oats and just rice.
Okay.
Don't do any other kind of like potatoes or anything like that. I haven't even really been doing veggies or anything. It's like, the food part's not that bad. Had some health issues like halfway through prep for a few weeks there with like my gut and things like that. So it took some time to figure all that shit out, but we're all dialed in now. So
What type of fish are you taking in?
I just do the Costco frozen tilapia. That's my go-to.
Now, do you guys have like there's all kinds of different names, so don't get mad if I use one that you don't like, but do you guys do like refeeds, or do you have like high days, or do you have cheat meals or anything like that? What does that kind of look like in terms of this prep, Ryan?
Yeah, we've kept refeeds in since the beginning, which is nice because like I said, we're not trying to make a weight class, and we both kind of agreed that when we're going into this prep, like we're gonna try and just bring our like biggest, fullest look, like with good conditioning, but extra emphasis on like staying big and full because I feel like that's where I can overpower a lot of these guys. Yeah, so we would do it was sushi in the beginning, and then started getting a little bit leaner, and then it's kind of turned into pancakes, and we do them. So we'll have them as a pre-workout meal. So it's kind of clean, the pancakes, and then I'll have that before my deadlift sessions where I feel like I really need it the most, and that's where I can, really tell my nervous system to like hold on to all this tissue while I'm dieting, and just giving it that little burst pre-workout gives me like a big boost in the gym. So I was able to keep those numbers up. I don't think we're going to get any more until we start carbon up again, but I had some last week and I was up just a couple pounds after, and then 2 days later I was down 4 pounds. So they seem to be going right through me.
What kind of pancakes are they, from IHOP or just something that you make yourself, or what?
No, so I used to do the IHOP ones, but they put too much this different shit in it, like creamer and sugar. They're all too sweet. So there's this little diner up the street. It's called Sweet Betty's, and it's just like really good, like homemade style. So just like flour and egg whites or whatever it is, and water, and um, yeah, that's just pretty much what I've been doing. Maybe a slice of French toast. But that, yeah, that's my. It's been really nice having one every weekend since we started, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. If you don't mind talking about it, what was the gut issues that you were kind of dealing with in prep?
Man, so every year that I've ever prepped, I've gotten the hiccups for like weeks. And then in my USA's prep, I had hiccups from like 7 weeks out all the way up till the day of the show. Like I was in the hotel room with hiccups. And I was like, dude, this shit's unbearable. Like it's raising my cortisol so much and my throat hurt because I was like, I couldn't, every breath that I would take was a hiccup. And I was like, this is getting fucking ridiculous. So we did a lot of like trial and error trying to figure out what it was that was causing it. Kind of pinpointed it, which was PED related. So we took that compound out and they went away. So like, all right, maybe we're good. So we put it back in and they came back and I was like, all right, that's definitely got to go. So did that, but in the meantime, I called my doctor and I talked to a couple coaches and well, Tim, and then Tim is actually asking Blue as well, and I talked to Stu, and we were all kind of like putting our heads on it. And there's like this muscle relaxer that's supposed to stop your hiccups. So I got that from my doctor, and I took it, and they didn't go away. And then just being on that muscle relaxer messed me up so bad that I tried to train legs later that night, and I couldn't even move half the weight. And I was like, I can't take this. So, but they went away the next day. So I was like, all right, cool. I think we're in the clear. And now it's been about a week and a half. I haven't had one. So that's pretty good. I'm able to pull a vacuum again. So stomach's feeling good. I'm liking how things are cruising along now.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about your expectations for yourself. What your goal is for nationals this year. What are you going to nationals to accomplish this year, Ryan?
Honestly, like I want to be happy with how I look up there, how I know I'm capable of looking. I want to look. I want to exceed everyone's expectations at least, because after the USA's placing ninth, um, I can say what I'm planning on doing in my head, but um, in reality, I'll just be happy if like my stage shots come back and I'm like, yeah, like this is worth it, because it's been pretty miserable some of this prep, and I'm to the point where I'm like, dude, I don't even know why I do this shit. Like this is so stupid. But I feel like as soon as I'm back to normal after the show, I'll be like ready to go again. I think a lot of bodybuilders go through that. That's one of the phases towards the end of prep where you're like questioning why you even do this. That you just do it anyway.
It's dude, if you like seriously think about like what we do, and there's different levels to bodybuilding, of course, but like if you think about what we do, what bodybuilders do, like it's like it really is like insanity, man. Like the whole thing, like the whole lifestyle, the eating, the training, the dieting down, like then you get into like the enhanced side of things. It's like, man, it's all just crazy. But like you said, once you get a little food in you and the competition's over, it's definitely, there's nothing like it. It's so rewarding, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. If you can suffer through it, then the victory and the glory is always greater.
Okay, so I'm sensing that you don't really want to say what you want to accomplish at US or at nationals. So I'll just kind of leave it at this. Would you be very happy with yourself if you got into the first call outs in the super heavies?
Um, no, I plan on being in the first call outs for sure.
Yeah, you want to win, dude. Just say it, man. Come on now.
I do. I want to battle it out in the overall.
Yeah.
I want to win the supers and then battle out in the overall. And if somebody out there out conditions me or has a better package altogether, I think I'll be able to live with myself. But I mean, I only got to get second in the supers to get the pro card, which that's pretty good chances, you know.
Yeah.
And the supers are not as stacked as the heavies. I'm glad I'm not a heavy because there's some killers in there. I know you've had quite a few of them on, but I competed against some of them at USA's. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is not, I don't belong in this weight class. Like these guys are aesthetic and tight waist. And I'd rather just put on more size and make it look like I got a smaller waist. So,
Yeah. So, what, depending upon what the outcome is at the nationals, have you and Tim discussed anything further past nationals, or are you guys just fully focused on nationals in 2 weeks?
yeah, just nationals, nothing else after that. I definitely know I'm going to take all of next year off, regardless of placing or anything like that, just to get the business side of things, like put a lot more effort into that, so that by the time I do the next show, you know, it's a breeze financially.
Makes a lot of sense. Thoughts on USA's and North Americans? I mean, who obviously Stuart's a good friend of yours, but what were your thoughts on some of the guys, not just the overall winners, but were there any other guys that you saw from those two competitions that kind of caught your eye, or what are your thoughts on those two shows? Because I thought they were great.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm at the same caliber as some of those top 2 3 guys in the supers at both of those shows. Obviously I compare myself to them, like, but just through pictures and stuff like that. So you never know until you're on stage. You can look great in your check-in pictures. And one thing that I'm happy about is my check-in picture spot where I live is shit. And I'm like, if I can look good in this super shitty lighting, I should probably look better on stage. So I try to keep the image quality as normal looking as possible with my check-ins, so that I don't appear to look sharper or harder than I actually am.
Yeah, yeah. That's what somebody said about Stewart. They said I had him on the podcast after he won USA's, and I can't remember who it was, but they're like, man, like his photos on Instagram sucked, and then we saw him like backstage, and he was like a freak. So you must maybe borrowed that from Stewart, huh?
Yeah, Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, that's funny, man. I love that. All right, Ryan, we're gonna start wrapping up here, man. What are you in terms of the Mr. Olympia or anything like that coming up here in December? Any thoughts on who do you got for? I'm pretty sure Big Rami's probably going to win again, but who would you like to see in the first callouts at the Olympia, or who's maybe a dark horse? What are your thoughts on the Olympia this year?
Oh man, this is gonna be such an exciting one. Honestly, there's so many dark horses, like you said. So I don't know how he'll place, but who I'm really excited to see is Samson.
Yeah.
Because that dude, I like, that's the shape that I like. He's got the tight waist, but still a mass monster. So I'm interested to see how he places. But yeah, I got Ramy, Hottie, Hunter. And then for fourth and fifth, I think it's going to be a toss up. I could see Nick Walker up there. I could see Bonac up there. But then you also got Lunsford. So I'm like, but probably between those those 5 or 6 guys
Yeah.
in pretty much any order, but I see Hunter being top 2 or 3 for sure.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be nuts.
He's
Dude, I
put on
think
a lot of size in the right places, and I think I don't think people are giving him the credit that like Nick Walker's big, but when they stood next to each other at the Olympia, Hunter's wider and he's more proportionate and balanced, head to toe, side to side. Like, I just think that's the direction that the sport should go. Not just mass building, but also have that symmetry and those nice classic lines.
yeah. I mean, that's bodybuilding, right? I mean, I couldn't agree more with you,
What
man.
about you? What do you think?
What's that?
Who you got for the top 5?
Top 5.
Who you got for the top 5?
So unfortunately, I believe Rami's going to win again. I'm just not a fan of his physique at all, but he's probably going to win again. Brandon Curry again. Like, I'm not.
Oh shit!
Nothing against him. Like, nothing against any of these guys personality wise as human beings, right? I'm fully just speaking as physiques. Probably Rami won. I really think that Nick Walker is not a dark horse, but he's a wild card in the sense of, like, if he brings that conditioning, he's got the freak factor. He's just there's something about him. So I could see him personally possibly as high as second. I'm not gonna put him in second, but I could see him as high as second. I just Brandon Curry. I think he's on his way out. I could see him dropping out of the top 3, out of the top 4. But then again, he could be second again too. I just don't know. But we'll go Big Rami 1. I'm gonna put Nick Walker 2, and then 3. Let's see here. Man, there's Hadi Chupon, William Bonac. I'll say probably Hadi will probably be 3rd. And again, I'm not picking those out of, like, because they're my favorites, but just kind of like, I guess, my perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I like that. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of Curry's updates. I saw a couple like really far away photos and he looked crazy. Looks like his legs came up, but it was also the camera was really low and far away. So I'm like, it's hard to tell, but he always puts it together. But yeah, like you said, I think he could be possibly dropping a couple spots this year. I forgot I didn't even put him in my top 5, but yeah, I think some of these younger generation guys are going to be passing up some of the other ones. So that's cool, man. I'm excited. It's cool. It's cool that I've been prepping because we're just 2 weeks ahead of all the Olympia guys. So I'm like, I can keep an eye on them and their condition. And I'm like, all right.
Super cool, man. There's like, I think over 30 guys qualified in the men's open, right?
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many are going to actually go, but I think it's going to be cool to see a fresh lineup.
For sure. Yeah. No, I think we're definitely seeing the next generation come up, which is exciting, because I'm just not really excited about the big Ramis and the Brandon Currys. I'm just like, let's get something new and fresh up there, right? So, anyways, but cool. All right, Ryan. I think we're gonna keep it right there, man. You said you're on your 3rd in a row low day, and so we'll let you go here, man. You're deep into prep, a little over 2 weeks out. So first of all, man, I just want to say thanks for coming back on. Good luck in a couple weeks, dude. Before I do a really quick outro here, any final thoughts, any final words, any shout outs? Give us your Instagram again, and then I'll do an outro and we'll get you out of here. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, no, man, I just want to say thanks again for having me on. It was cool. You had Tim on. I really liked hearing that. I listen to all these guys. I listened to Chris Knox's this morning when I was doing my cardio. I really like that guy because we met at USA's and we're actually going to go out and get food after Nationals this year. So that'd be cool to see him. And, he's been really good and supportive. We've been kind of like checking on each other through prep. So excited to see all those guys at Nationals again. And then, yeah, just shout out to O'Malley's and my people over here. Thanks for having me on and doing what you do, man. I really enjoy these.
Yeah, you're welcome. Give us your Instagram. And if somebody wants to reach out to you in terms of coaching, Ryan, is that the best way, Instagram, to get a hold of you?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just my name, Ryan Foster, and then 6'7".
Okay. Awesome, man. All of you who are tuning into this episode of Behind the Muscle podcast, I just want to say thank you so very much. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Also, take this episode with Ryan, share it on your Instagram stories. Make sure you tag Ryan's coach, Tim O'Malley. And then also don't forget to tag Behind the Muscle podcast. I greatly appreciate that. And then finally, I will leave you all with this. Remember, behind the muscle, there's always a story. We'll catch you guys later.